Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. Happy 4th of December, everybody. It is flying by already. But I am kind of happy that we've got to day 4 so that I can show you what is in here and explain our thoughts behind this one too. But day 4 is a bigger bag, and day 4 is more of an essential. It is a roll of a double-sided tape, which does have many uses, and I do realise that many of you may have double-sided tape already. It is something we actually included a few advents ago, and I normally don't like to repeat things. However, it is used to adhere these to the cardstock. So I wanted to be able to give you basically everything apart from a pair of scissors. That's the only thing. There is no sharps in this. But yeah, the idea is that you take yesterday's piece of cardstock, and when you finish today, day 4, use your scissors to cut around. Now, we have done white cardstock and it is a white canvas. So I don't know if you can see, my cutting down there was not amazing. In fact, you can hardly see it at all. But there is definitely some bits that stick out a little bit past the diamonds. They don't show up on the white. And I just used double-sided tape. I used a strip across the top, a strip across the bottom. You can put more on if you feel like it, but it is plenty to hold the diamond painting. You can see I can lift up that side because there is no tape there. I just put it at the top and the bottom of each one. And yeah, that's how you create your little cards, which you can prop up, you can prop up on the little stand for each day of December. My day 3 is currently up on mine at the moment because that's the day I'm filming it, but I have day 4 ready to go. Yes, I did have the benefit of course, doing these in the summer, but I have day 4 ready. Whether you choose to do one each day and then be able to chop them up and put them on, or whether you do them all and then chop them for next year, is completely up to you. But yeah, this is to aid you in that quest for this year's Advent, which is sort of our main theme item. But gifts after this get a little bit different. They're not all geared towards this. So yeah, that is why we have double-sided tape in there today. But let's move on to the diamond painting. We are down here for day 4. So I'm just going to push my canvas from the bottom so I can get hold of a corner of the cover paper. And I think I might move day 12 over ever so slightly because I do have the space to be able to do a nice gap. And I think, I might need to move day 6 ever so slightly as well. It is very, very close to being on the line, but I'm just going to scoot it ever so much. There we go. So that I have clear rain. Looks like we are doing a little bit of the riverbank and a little bit of the river today. So let's zoom in. That's as far as it'll let me zoom in. So let's scoot up, keep my computer here for my questions. And today I'm using another pen that I was gifted by Kim, this gorgeous little mini blue one. And I decided to pull out the brighter blue. and go for our bright blue tray, which has got, there we go, it's gone. Got remnants of things in it. So let's grab out our 310. You hear Catherine sneeze in the background.
Sorry.
But yeah, I hope everybody is still having an amazing December. My amazing hubby last night put all the Christmas decoration boxes back in the loft, which was fantastic. Catherine spent a lot of time baking cookies yesterday and brownies. Brownies for the girls to take into work. Megan put a request in. Teachers are feeling it right at the moment, so a sugar rush was required. So yeah, she's done a load of baking yesterday, and then she baked some gorgeous little cookie packs. And we went delivering them to a couple of family member houses last night. So while we were out delivering, hubby straightened up the baking aftermath in the kitchen and put the stuff in the loft, which was awesome. Sorry about that. Do you know, every single phone call I have had this week while doing these whip and waffles, every phone call from hubby during the day has been during a whip and waffle. Every single one. It's hilarious. But anyway, yes, he had an audit today thing at work and it all went well. So that's good. So things are on the up. I think things are on the up. I've got a tidier space now that stuff is in the loft, and me and Catherine have a plan today to get on top of the rest. And then, yeah, things have gone well at hubby's work, though he's still got work coming out of his ears, but at least one thing is ticked off. And yeah, here's for what's going to be a good week is my plan. So my main concentration is house today, and then the next 2 days of the week is, which if you can hear the washing machine, by the way, that will be an ongoing thing for a while because I'm behind on that. Yeah, my plan is for Thursday, Friday is to attempt to get 2 whip and waffles done to free up the weekend, because I want to make some things this weekend, and to top up dime industrials and cardstock in the shop is my main plan, because cardstock I am completely out of. Well, I have it, but it's not packaged in any way, shape or form. And dime industrials, I've done a mini top up, but I haven't filled them up properly. So I have bags of dime industrials all over the shop. So I want to finish those up, spend a bit of time in there getting things straight. And yeah, here's to having a calmer December once this first week is gone. That's my thought. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I hope everybody is getting what they want done. Excuse me. And getting things sorted out. Now, question. Do I do these purple number 7s here, because it's my most bottom corner one, which will also involve a few up here, and then move across? Or do I get all my green done and then do it? No, let's mix up a bit. Let's do some purple. I'm not going to do all the purple, and the reason I'm doing it this way, I think, is because it is not... If this was a load of the leaves, I would feel as though I'd need to complete all the purple. But because it's the river and it's just strips, I'm okay not doing the number 8 yet for my other purple. I don't feel like it needs to be completed in colours as much. If I'd have done all the blue, then I would want to complete the colour. But because I haven't, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to do the 7. And then I'm just going to move along and do these ones across the bottom. So M is next. And then let's go to comments, etc. So we're still on comments from the first, but Rose, she says, I'm trying to think if I've read this one. No, I don't think I have. She says, happy first Zesties. She says she has been waiting all day to open her number 1 bag. I open my Advent fairly promptly in the morning. I say fairly promptly, within the first hour or so of being awake. But that is also because there is somebody I follow on Instagram who also has the Missouri Star Advent box, and she opens it on her stories. And yesterday I actually opened her story, saw her there with her Advent box, and had to close Instagram so I could go and have the surprise of opening mine first before I got to see hers. So excuse me. So I try and open it now in the morning before before she opens hers, or before I see her open hers. I actually haven't been on her stories today, so I'll have a look later and see what her thoughts is, but I like today's. Anyway, she said it's the first already here in Oz. Yes, Oz does get to open early. My mum has one this year, so she phones up. She phones up not every morning, but quite a few mornings. She will phone me when I'm awake about the one she's opened that day, especially if she has any questions. She says she is loving today's Advent gift. She says, and the ideas are flowing. She says she's so excited to see all the things. And she says, thank you for all that you do, Rebecca. She says, and add more zest. Well, I am so glad it is being greatly received. I know there is at least one person, because they've confessed, who has opened day 1 and then opened all the rest. And there is definitely at least one person, I think possibly 2, that I know of that have opened everything before December the 1st even came about. One of those was already pre-planned, like it was going to happen. So, yeah, so far it is being liked, which is good. Diamonds and Dobermans, she said, happy Advent. She says she didn't peek at all. And she says, what a great idea, she says, for the canvas. 4 days at a time, she says, so it is up to us if we want to do one a day or 2 a day. She said she is definitely going to try for 1 a day. She says she loves the Advent and she can't wait until tomorrow. Awesome. Anastasia. She says, hi, Rebecca. She says she knows it's been a while since I've heard from her. It has. That is a name I recognise, which is good considering I'm not very good with names at all. Just spotted a little bit of fluff that got on my canvas. Get off. She says she can't believe it is December already. She says she hasn't been able to watch since April. Goodness me, that's the time I started getting busy, I think, as well. If my logbook was anything to go by, April was when things started getting a bit crazy for me. But she says a lot has happened. She says April 1st, she started her master's program. Goodness me, that'll take your brain power away from you. She says she's completed 4 out of 10 courses so far. She has 2 more to complete by March 31st. And then in May, June, July and August, she got the opportunity to teach more computer programming courses at her job. So she spent those 4 months building 2 courses from scratch. She says then beginning of September, she broke her left leg. Oh my goodness me. How on earth did you manage to do that? Did you fall out of a tree or something? She said it has to have a plate and pins put in it. Ooh. She said she's still going through rehab, but finally walking on her own. She says, what a year. That does sound like a year. Highs and lows. She says start 2025, she says, with a house full of troubles. She says, and that feels ages ago now. She says, great to finally get back to normal and hear your lovely voice. She says, happy Advent Zesties. Well, happy Advent to you. Sounds like you are definitely deserving some me time after what sounds like an extremely crazy 2025 for you. Absolute madness. Trudy, she says she was very excited to open her advent calendar today. She said, as always, she said you didn't disappoint. She says she loves the pictures. She says, and it's a great way to start with the gems just be kitted up. She said, let's hope she holds out past day 14 this year. That is the hard part, isn't it? It's not just opening it all and looking at everything and just taking the excitement of one day. Makes us wonder, well, I suppose we were forced to as children to wait for our Advent. But yeah, it now doesn't surprise me why quite often my niece and nephew decided to open everything in their Advents if they managed to get an opportunity. They use the opportunity to open everything because the excitement levels are high, and it is not against adults to do the same thing. Jess, she says, yay. She says it is day 1 already. She says she loved the day 1 gift, and she said she will definitely work on that next year as a daily thing. And that is the opportunity that you can work on it next year as well, or work on it this year and then use it as a display next year. She says she can't squeeze it in this year. She says because of the 2025 diamond painting bingo. She says her boxes are all planned out for the rest of the year. She says that means, she says she'll have 2 things a day to work on from your shop. She says come December 2026. Oh, goodness me. I'm sure that will be upon us before we even know it as well. We're sounding shocked at 2026 December of. But the way 2025 went, it will be here before we know it. She says she always looks forward to working alongside my daily videos, she says, for the December Advent. She says thanks for all that you do. She says her tree was up on Black Friday. She said, but it's only partially decorated. She says she will get it done throughout the week. She says, so many ornaments. Yes, that's why I think the tree is such a battle in itself sometimes. And it looks so good, but it takes so long in itself. That, yeah, putting everything else up is just too much all for one day. Far too much. Lazy retired granny. She says her first advent. She says, is she to assume that the drills in day one, she said, should be kitted up and saved for a possible additional diamond painting? All I can say is I do suggest that you kit up the drills, and once you have done the day one diamond painting, if you've just gone ahead and done it, do not de-kit afterwards. That's all I can say on that matter. She says she's also started her first square on the canvas. She says she is so excited. Always good to hear. Lady Dax, she says, hello, happy December, she says, Rebecca and Zesties. She says she loves the Advent and the day one gift. She says, great idea. Glad you like it. That was the first item that was determined and planned and took the longest time. The longest time to sort out too. She says she's not started Floral Surprise yet today. She says which is what she's going to be working alongside the Advent. She says, but she does now know how to work her new tablet and how to work Pattern Keeper. Well, that's an awesome start. I did actually get some diamond painting done last night before we went out delivering cookies. I did actually get to do a bit of diamond painting, which I'd sort of set my mind to be able to do at least some. And my decision wheel picked the Heaven and Earth design. So I've actually done 2 sections of that since we last had a whip and waffle on it. So I'm hoping you guys will see some progress by the time that whip and waffle comes back, and we'll have some movement on the Heaven and Earth design, so that project can get finished at least at some point in 2026. Sounds weird to say. Sue, she says this is her first Zesty Advent. And she loves day one. She says she also bought one for her daughter-in-law, and they are opening them together. That's nice. She says while she is familiar with my products, she is not. She said so she's excited for her as she receives each present. Oh, that's awesome. You get the excitement for yourself, but you also get the excitement of somebody who's not had one before or is not used to our products as well, which is fun. Fun. It's like an extra layer of fun, being excited for somebody else. Susan, she says, lovely start for day one. She says both the video and the Advent gift. She said it's gorgeous. She says this year she is working on the 4 painting set from Admiral Zest from last year. She says she got the 2 round kits done. She says she'll do the mystery and then the chart one next. She says after that, she says she may start on the day one gift. She says wishing you, your family and all of our diamond painting friends here and on Facebook, she says a wonderful holiday season with love from Canada. It's amazing how many Zesties we've got in how many different countries. And I love the fact that we all come together in December to just give ourselves a little bit of me time, a little bit of calm and relaxation is always good. Barbara, she says, is the advent calendar included? Included in what, Barbara? I'm not quite sure what you're asking it's included in, but the advent calendar is a separate item that was available to purchase from our shop, and it is different to this painting. So they are two separate items, but they're both items that we offer in our shop. Is an advent calendar and then an advent event painting of some sort, which varies each year. Trying to do something a little bit different for each year. Okay, let me change over colours and let's, yeah, H is next anyway. It's my next lowest colour, and that works well because I'd rather get the rest of this green done, even if I'm not starting in this bottom corner. Get some of the single bits done. Liv, she says, happy 1st of December 2025 Zesties. She says she's been busy this evening. She's been at Christmas by Candlelight concert in their local abbey. Ooh, that sounds fun and festive. She said it was fab. She says, so she's not opened her first gift yet or her chocky advent. She says as she needs to relax a little. Decompress from being social is always a good thing. Even if the event is good, it's always good to decompress from it all a little bit. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it all, including your little chocky, once you got to open them. My diamond painting place, she says, yay, happy December event. They said they just love this annual event. Such an excuse to get more diamond painting in every day. Yes, it definitely is. It's the perfect time to try and get a little bit more in, because otherwise, frankly, we get forgotten. I mean, I still do a section of this every single day. Of course, because I'm doing it as a whip and waffle. But I often have to remind myself to do a little bit of one of my other diamond paintings each day. Just as, you know, I'm not filming, I'm not chatting while I'm doing it. I'm just well and truly switching off while doing it. And I very much need to remind myself to try and do that each day as well, because it does make things calmer for me, even if sometimes I'm just squeezing in that little bit of time. It can definitely help with the madness, even if it's just chance for me to sort my thoughts out while I'm doing it. So last night when I was doing some, I did feel like I was able to sort of, you know, think about what I wanted to get achieved and what was priority and what would make me feel better if I got this task done or this task done. Just time while diamond painting to decide which tasks to prioritise, which will make the next tasks easier. Not that they're definitely linked, but I do know if the house is straighter, which, say, it's not hugely disorganised now. It's just getting a plan with the washing, because it's winter and I can't dry it. So just getting a plan with that to get it sorted, and it's getting the presents under the tree. I've got a couple that I need to wrap that need to go to the back of the tree before I can put other presents that are just in bags. They're wrapped. Catherine's been on a wrapping spree already. They're wrapped, they're ready to go under the tree and to get out of, you know, the corner of my bedroom where I just keep seeing them. But I need to wrap a couple of presents first. So it's little things like that. It's more the bits that float about the house than like it's a mess and needs cleaning. Yeah, it's not so much the cleaning up, it's the other bits. And I know full well if I prioritise that for today, not regarding, of course, the whip and waffle and orders, they'll get done as standard. But yeah, prioritising getting those sorted today will actually make me feel calmer for tomorrow, to then get on with extra whip and waffles and getting stuff straight in the shop. I won't feel as though I've got everything straight in the shop and then walk out the shop and come into mess. It's more mess. It's just straightening up the bits that aren't where they're supposed to be and putting away things that, yeah, that need to go into a proper home. So I'm excited to do all that, and I was able to think through it all and plan it all while diamond painting. Sorry, to excuse Luna. Catherine has actually gone to hoover the stairs and has shut the kitchen door so as not to have the hoover noise come through while I'm doing the whip and waffle. And Luna is offended by that. But she would be more offended if she was next to the hoover. So she just doesn't know it. Okay. Well, we're getting some colours of the river done at the same point of doing this. Diamond Painting Place said, loving the first Advent gift too. They said, thank you. I always knew the first one would be a hit, but it had to be on the first day as well, because sometimes I like to save things that are a big hit for a couple of days in. Like, I want day one to be something that's enjoyed, but I also like to try and save and spread out some of the surprises so that it's, you know, doesn't start on a high and end on a low. Which can be the hardest part of Advent, actually, is deciding when things are given out. But yeah, day one sort of had to be day one. There was no real choice with that if you guys were going to be able to have the option to do it each day. Christina, she says she thought the little squares, the little diamond paintings were one square for each Advent at first. She says she really likes the lighting today. She says very natural and nothing blown out white or overexposed. Yes, I got good natural light on day one. I think day 3 didn't seem to be as good natural light. Today, it doesn't seem too bad. Today, again, seems pretty good. But it really, really does sort of depend on the weather. But natural light does look so much better than non-natural light, I will say. I much prefer it when I get a nice natural light day. Okay. Let's get a few of these gaps filled in and then we can start on the river. I think I tipped out far too many diamonds for what I need, but that's okay. Stacey Louise, she says, how many glue dots do you use per pen? She says she uses one. She says, but after like 5 minutes, she said it comes out and sticks to the diamonds. She says, so she's constantly putting it back in. She says, any advice? Okay, could be a couple of things that are causing that. So I use one if I'm using our Sticks 2 diamonds. Sticks 2 is the brand of them, a UK brand. But I use one if I'm using those. If I'm using the brand that's called Glue Dots and using the micro ones, I often need a couple if I'm using those. So I actually tend to use a combination of the two. I use one Sticks 2 diamond, and then if it starts going further and further in the pen, then I'll add one of the Glue Dot brands to the top. That's like my top up diamond. But if you find they're coming out, there could be a couple of different reasons for that. One is if you've used wax in the same pen tip in the past, sometimes you may find there is wax residue in there, which can cause the glue dot to not stick that well to the side of the pen tip. So if you're using the likes of the plastic pen tips, maybe try switching it out for one that has not had anything in it before, like any wax or anything in it before. The other thing that could be causing it is when you first put a glue dot in. A glue dot is actually probably too sticky for your diamonds compared to the canvas, like the ratio between the two. So I very much always, if I'm putting a fresh glue dot in a pen, is I will what I call prime the glue dot. So quite often, as soon as I've put a fresh glue dot in, I will dab it on my clothes so it picks up a little bit of fluff. I will also dab it on like the side of my hand or the side of my face for it to pick up a few of like your natural body oils, to sort of take a little bit of the stickiness away from the glue dot. And as you can see, I've just done all three and my glue dot's still working fine. But it just takes that harsh, sticky out of the equation. Now, you may find you need to do that. You may find that you do that and you can diamond paint for a good... Luna, get out of my cart. She's just pulled my Xyron sticker maker out of my cart. Stop that. It's not for puppies. She's not a puppy, but still. Yeah, you may find that works great and you get to do 15 minutes of diamond painting and then all of a sudden it starts potentially sticking too hard and pulling out again. Just repeat the process. You find that as the glue dot sort of readjusts in the pen, you may find that it's just, exposed a little bit of a more sticky side. So again, I will literally just, quite often, I'll just dab it on the side of my face and then carry on diamond painting. And then you get to a point, and it's fairly quick. Like, this isn't like, oh my goodness me, I've got to stop diamond painting and prime my pen again. It's a quick dab and then back to it. You will find after like 1 or 2 sessions of diamond painting that you just don't have to do that again, and your pen will last for ages before it gets to the point that it's losing sticky. When you do get to the point that it's losing sticky again, rather than being too sticky, quite often I find that if you take your glue dot out, roll it between your fingers and put it back in again, put it back in the pen again, you get a load longer again before you actually have to change the glue dot. It takes a lot for you to have to change it. But yeah, it's one of those two things that's causing it. And I'd even try priming it first as the first option. So dab it on some jeans, just anything that clothes-wise that is likely, like you can't even really see the fluff that it pulls off. But I'm not saying do it on a really fluffy jumper, because you don't want bits of fluff sticking out of your pen. But yeah, just enough to sort of prime it and then carry on. And if you find it still keeps coming out after doing that multiple times, then it's probably your pen tip has got wax residue and it's just not allowing the glue dot to stick. So you may need to just switch out your pen tip. Oh, we're on to day 2 of comments, but Drama Free DP says her diamond dust drills were in a pot. She said she loves it. She says she's enjoying this diamond painting kit so much. She says she couldn't help it. She has done 4.5 squares already. Love it. Love the fact that, yeah, there are some people that just enjoy the process and or the advent so much that they either open too many advent bags or go further ahead with the diamond painting. But you know what? That's okay too, because you may find that there will be a day later on in the month that you don't get to diamond paint and you take your me time in a different way, and you get just giving yourself the opportunity to still make sure you can finish your diamond painting before Christmas Eve. Yeah, and it all works out in the end, as they say. Doroby Punked, she says she is loving the June and the Advent events every year. She said it kind of marks halfway and the end of year, she says, which is nice. But it's also frightening, she says, how fast time has passed in 2025. Yes, it wasn't that long ago that I was doing the Highland Cow for the June events, and now it's just every time I go to film one of these I'm like, okay, we're further in December than I thought. My brain is still thinking it's the 1st, and it's not. It is in no way still the 1st of December, but it feels like it should be. Well, it feels like it should be November actually, but it is not. December is well on its way to flying by. And of course, we're not even waiting till the end of December. We're only waiting until the 24th. She said she had a few busy weeks in November. She says also, she tested the stability of her wrist by falling on it. Oh no. That's not a good test to do. I don't advise anybody else tries that one. But she says her wrist was sprained, but luckily not broken. She says, but the bruises hurt for a couple of days. I can imagine. That is not fun. It was the first snowy and cold day, she said, and she slipped and fell. She says, but it's all good in the meantime. She says, but she had a couple of days without diamond painting due to it. Yes, because when things like that happen, it always happens on the wrong wrist, does it not? She says, but she now can do catch up, and she is enjoying it very much. She said she's working on her current project, which is Hong Kong Lights by Yumi Art from Diamond Art Club. She said it had the green and moody background, she says, with the lights is fun to do. Excuse me. I've got a tickle. I can feel another cough coming. It's tickling. Oh, there we go. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully that's out the way. She says, thank you for all that you do for us Zesties. Rebecca, she says, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Thank you. I am planning on having a chiller December than I normally do. That's my plan. We'll see how this week trying to get stuff ticked off the list so that a calmer December can be had. We'll see if it works. Because there's normally something that crops up, but I have a few things that are chunky on my list that I sort of want to get ticked off. But then other than that, I have mainly smaller things that can either be ticked off, you know, one a day, sort of more of a pottering type ticking off, you know, just doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that when I feel like it, which will be a calmer December for me. But I'm hoping to get a couple of the sort of big things ticked off the list this week so that I can then have a more pottering December, doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it will feel calmer. That's my plan. We'll see if it happens. Oh, Natalia says she likes my nails. Thank you ever so much. I went a bit brave this time with my nails, especially with going with a bright red colour. And yeah, they'll be here. They'll be here for a while because it's not until right near the end of the December event that they're due to be redone before Christmas. I'm not sure if I'll go quite so brave again next time. We shall see. I'm liking them, but I think I might go lean a bit more into the green side of Christmas for my next nail appointment. We shall see. Let's read Cat Lady's comment from the 2nd while we finish up this colour. But she says she is done with the shopping and she has wrapped at least half. She says, but today she realised she hadn't bought or sent any Christmas cards. She says, which meant she hadn't changed her address with them. She said she instantly went on the A shop, she says, and she will get them tomorrow. She says they used to get a big box of sweets and kept it on the sideboard by the door, she says, and offer them to all callers. She says as she is diabetic and she's behaving at the moment, she says they didn't have any excess sweets this year. She says she still needs to do a shop for the general goods. She says, but it will also include items she needs for Christmas meals. She says then she'll get a final shop with veg, fruit, dairy and anything else that makes the list. She says that'll probably be the Monday or Tuesday before Christmas. She also says, this week hasn't been any quieter, still getting deliveries. Maybe we'll get a quiet week in this month at some point, Cat Lady. Maybe we will, but I've got feelings we won't. Even though I'm hoping to have, a more pottering December. How much will actually be a pottering December, time will tell. Probably not as much as I want, but anyway. Oh, I love that. I've just looked up at my actual camera screen, which gives me the painting from a bit more of a distance, rather than, of course, being close up. I am loving that river. I can't wait to do more of that river. That is funky. But yeah, we have done day 4 for today. Let me zoom you out until we sort of get to my stand. Where are we for day 5? Oh, we're up here. Let's close that for a moment. We're up here for day 5. So yeah, we seem to be on these columns at the moment. In fact, it doesn't change for day 6 or day 7 either. That's what happens when I just mix them all up and put them down. it ends up being what it will be. But yeah, day 4 is done. I feel as though December's going fairly quickly, but also not too bad. Like, we're not at last little gaps to fill in, so we do still have some time. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed your me time today. Thank you all so much for joining me for this one, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.